we are making our pinch pots. Then you're going to stick your thumb in it. Then you're going to rotate all the way around. So what I'm doing here is I'm opening up the form. I'm squeezing it by keeping my fingers straight, and my thumb is moving across the bottom. Now, if you go like this and you try to squeeze it between your thumb and a bent finger, it is not going to work. So what happens is half of the pot is going to get thinned, the other half is going to be thick, and then this part gets all thin and it breaks. So we're going to just go all the way around on both sides, and we're going to keep it nice and even. So we're going to do that again. I'm going to hold it so that you can see what's going on here, at least hopefully you can see what's going on here. I can't see what I'm doing because I'm taping and doing this at the same time. Usually I have an assistant, but I don't have an assistant today. Okay, so we have this all nice and even. Then we're going to take our rubber smoother and we're going to smooth it out, bringing it up all the way around, and we're rotating it as we go. And if you get little bits of clay on there, go ahead and just clean it off. And don't stress about it that it's not perfect right now. It's not meant to be perfect right now. Remember I told you it was gonna look kind of like a potato. Well, sort of like a lumpy potato. So that is what is happening right now. That's this stage of the process. So at this point, we're gonna paddle it. So you're gonna get your wooden spoon. You're going to make your knuckles flat. We're gonna turn it upside down, and we are going to paddle it. Now you can use the curved side, or you can use the flat side, whichever. Now, don't try to paddle where you can't see. Always paddle by turning it and looking at what you're doing. So what this does is it smooths and thins the sides of your and walls of your pot. Also make sure to take the paddle and walk it down the sides so that you can even it all out. So it'll look nice and even. Smooth it on the inside. I like to go both directions, so I keep my hand on the outside. Always brace your work, otherwise it gets too thin. And then we're gonna do the same thing with this. So always paddle it. Now, we are not going to put these together today because they need to firm up. So if you were working on your project, like I'm going to be working on this project, we are going to, at this point, start making these small pieces that go inside the little balls, and those have to dry fully to bone dry before we put them inside. So once you finish making them, you will want to stick them out in the sun. Not these, the balls. All right, so then we're going to just take a knife. We're just gonna kind of trim it so it's nice and even. And then we're going to rest it upside down, and then we're going to paddle it so that the bottom is no longer flat. This helps create a globe form. And then I'm going to trim this one as well. If you have a sharper knife that's available, in class we have what's called fettling knives, but we don't have those at home. But if you do have a sharper paring knife, that would be a good thing to use, as long as you don't cut yourself. So you make sure you use all safety precautions you would normally using a sharp knife. And remember, everything's washable. So, all right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the balls that go inside. So you're gonna take a piece of clay, you're gonna roll it like that, you're gonna stick it in a container or on a plate or something so that they don't roll all over the place. And then you're going to make about 50, 60 of these. You want them to fill up to about here. So about a quarter of the way you want those to be full. So I would just take some clay, something to clean your hands with, and because sometimes the clay gets built up, and then just sit, put on Netflix, and make these, because it takes a bit of time and you want to make sure you have enough. Now, this is too big. So here's what happens. If you make them super tiny, they're gonna sound, they won't have much of a sound. If you make them too big, it sounds like you have boulders inside your project. It doesn't sound very nice either. So you want to make them about the size of a BB, maybe, yeah, about the size of a BB. And you want to make them, and you just roll them on your finger. So it's gonna take a while to make these, probably about a half an hour. So I'm not gonna make you sit through and watch me do that, but what I do wanna do is show you how to clean your tools. So remember I told you that you need to make sure that you clean your tools over in water so that it doesn't go down your drain. Clay collects in your drain and it does not come out. You're gonna have to get a plumber out there. So you wanna make sure you clean them, and you wanna keep your tools clean so that the dry clay does not get messed up and into your stuff. So you wanna kinda take the stuff off. Clean off your tool. And if there's just a little bit of clay left after you're done cleaning, no big deal, but you want to keep it as clean as possible. It's always important to keep your workspace and tools as clean as possible. All right, so then this water gets dumped outside, and then the clay gets kind of cleaned up with a paper towel and scraped out and put in the trash. All right, so that's it for today. We'll look back on these tomorrow. And these, if you were working on them over a period of a couple hours, these are gonna be ready in about an hour to put together. And then we'll look at that next.